Welcome back to the Curious Yapper. I'm Madison, your host and favorite yapper. Gonna be transparent and honest. I don't really feel like making this episode today. There's still positives going on in life, and at the same time, I feel a lot of stress in work, and I am trying to do my best to channel all the tools and skills I've learned in therapy, and I find myself still thinking about it outside of office time, and I don't love that. So I didn't really want to make this anyways. There's still good. There's always good to life, and I've had some fun adventures, and I don't at the same time feel like I have a good handle on my stress. So it's probably gonna be a shorter episode. So not to be fake in any capacity, there is still good, so I'll share the good. Just being honest about I'm feeling stressed and my brain is not turning off right now. Anyways, Monday, colleagues from the Texas office were in town, and that was really delightful. I appreciated learning more about one of my colleagues and then getting to see my colleague that I knew very well, and we got to have dinner and we had ice cream, and it was fun to show them around my new home. And then the next day, took them on an adventure, nature day, so that they could also see what I love about this place and living in the Pacific Northwest. They got to see lots of trees and water, and it was fun to share that for sure. Then Wednesday, I was feeling stressed still from work, and I am trying to maintain the promises to myself to live a life outside of the office. So on my lunch break, I came home and packed up my paddleboard so that right after work, I had my swimsuit and I had my towel and everything I need to go paddling. And I ended up going right after work, board in the water, inflated it all. And it was a really great afternoon, and I was glad that I did that. Sometimes it's really easy to not go do stuff when you feel stressed. And then it turns into not enjoying life, and so that's not where I want to be. So I was glad that I honored that promise to myself Wednesday after work. And I'm reading a new book called The Silent Patient. I think it's considered a thriller book, and right now it's just talking about a therapist that is trying to get a patient to talk who everyone is labeling her as mute, and she's not thinking anymore. She hasn't spoken for, I don't know if it's years or so. So it's a psychological thriller. So we'll see if that's good. I got to read that book while I was on my paddle, and that was good for myself to keep that promise. And then Thursday, we went to food trucks that are nearby that have a fun special on Thursday. So that was good. I got to spend more time with colleagues in the office here that I didn't really know well. So got to build a little bit more connection there. And so that was good. And then had to say bye to them because they were leaving the next day. It was really delightful to have them though, and have the support and encouragement. So I appreciated them being here. And then Friday was just a typical day, if I'm remembering correctly. And after I got home and Evan was off work, and so we went on a small little adventure. We're hoping to buy a bookshelf or like an open shelving thing so that we can put all of our plants on, and it just makes the homey space fun and a way to showcase all the plants. Speaking of not so awesome sauce, but this was one of my birthday plants, and Evan gave her a trim this morning because she was really not looking good. We're hoping that the trim might allow her to thrive. She also might just be dead, gone. So anyways, I could feel just like this plant. Maybe just trim a little bit away and then life goes on. So I don't know. We are still looking for the open shelving though, so that we can see all of our plants. And then that evening after our adventure, we went to Home Depot to try to find the shelf, went to Target to try to find the shelf, and then went to get little bundt cakes because we realized I hadn't gotten a cake for my birthday yet since we were adventuring last weekend. So got a little buntlet cake. They had a banana pudding one and a lemon raspberry, so we tried both of those. Banana one didn't really taste banana-y, which is hilarious because that's a very potent flavor. So anyways, that was Friday, and then I crocheted a little bit, and then we just kind of chilled and watched TV and just relaxed. And then yesterday, Saturday, slept in. I can tell how I'm doing based on my ability to get up on the weekends and go do things. And not gonna lie, Saturday and Sunday, I was sleeping in, rolling over, don't want to get up. So it's a good first step to observe that in myself, and I'll try to make a change. Luckily, I have therapy this week, so hoping that can help, but it's just really stressful right now. So then Saturday slept in, and there's greatness, there was goodness to this weekend. There truly was. And it's also okay that I'm not feeling great at the same time. So Saturday slept in, and then Evan and I met his cousin that moved here just about 2 months ago now. So we met them in Portland at this park that happened to have a rose garden in it with a beautiful waterfall. And I think if we had been there maybe a couple weeks prior, maybe 3 weeks ago, it would have been in its prime. And so I'm really looking forward to next year being able to go see the roses in that garden, because it was still, they're all kind of wilting and they're on their way out, but it was still so beautiful, and I just love flowers so much. And so we got to do that, and then I got to meet the cousin for the first time, cousin's husband, and cousin has 2 kiddos, and it was just really fun. Turns out our life paths are kind of similar in a place where we're trying to heal and testing and challenging what the status quo is to society, and how we might have different beliefs than how we were raised or how society thinks women should be and things like that. So it was actually really fun to meet them and their family. And we thought we would only be there for maybe an hour or so socializing. Ended up being 3 hours, which was still delightful. And Evan and I got there a little ahead of time so that we could go spend time just lollygagging through the roses. And there was also some random bike meetup, and there were so many bikers, and it was just fun to see and people watch and all that stuff. So we did that. Then we went to a delicious sandwich food truck. The wait was really long, and we were ready to be home, so the experience was not great to wait. However, the sandwich was delicious, and I want to go there again for sure. Just have to know that there might be a wait for the sandwich. So that was Saturday morning and afternoon. And then that evening, I went to a game potluck with some of the people, the lady that I met at the library. So that was delightful. And it feels like I am also finally finding the community. And it just felt really good to play games, have some burgers, and it was just great. So I really enjoyed that too. And then today, slept in again. That usually reflects my mental state, so still not loving that. But slept in, then got to go to book club. And the book club that I have here is where you show up and you socialize, get some coffee for the first 30 minutes, and then you read silently your own book for an hour. And to me, it's just the perfect activity plus socialization structure that I've really enjoyed it. And one of the people in the book club, well, a couple of them remembered my name, and I said, oh my gosh, I remember you too. So that just feels good. So there's still goodness happening. And then after that, Evan and I went to an ice cream festival and spent about 2 hours there, but we paid for a ticket in advance, and then you got unlimited scoops, and there was just different lines that you go to. So we got to taste a lot of different flavors. I didn't total it. Maybe between the two of us, we tried about 10 different flavors, which was really fun. And then there was a milkshake drinking contest, and so we watched that, and this guy I think made it through 8 chocolate milkshakes. Ooh, and he won. So that was wild. So we did that, and then at the same time there was a farmer's market happening in the same area, so we got to walk up and down all of those vendor booths, and that was cool. Then there was this so incredibly talented artist that does scenes of Mount Hood with textured like knife paint putty. I don't really know the technique clearly. It was just really beautiful, and so I'm like, ooh, I need to figure out where I want to purchase or put art, because I would be very interested in buying prints or original art from this person, because I think it's so cool to have a local artist in your home. So we'll see how that goes. And then came back from the festival and had some lunch to balance out all of the ice cream and sugar, and yeah, just trying to stay in the moment and take care of myself, knowing that I'm going to be stressed this week, and trying to figure out how to navigate setting boundaries and meet expectations and all the things. So my head is spinning. Didn't really want to do this. Perhaps this is also a little outlet for myself. Not really sure. But I do appreciate you being here, Yappers. I'm hoping that this season is temporary. As we know, probably a couple months ago, I had some lows too, so I know that the feelings will pass. Just am looking forward to it to pass and figure out what the heck I'm doing. And also knowing that there's goodness happening at the same time. So that's where I'm at, Yappers. I hope you guys have a delightful week, and that you keep the promises you make to yourself, if that is something that you're doing after work or starting your morning or your day off a certain way. I hope that you can find ways to make sure you're fulfilled. So thanks for the App Sesh, Yappers. Have a great week. Bye.